Hello, welcome to another episode of Common Chaos Live with me, Christian Rauchmeier, on this Tuesday afternoon. I hope you all had a great day. So my screen just went dark, but I hope encoding overloaded, consider turning down. Okay, I think it should work anyway. Yeah, so I think everything should work fine. Yeah, just need to move this aside. So I forgot to set up the sharing for the phone screen. So just a second. Yep, start broadcast. Okay, good, we go. As always in Common Chaos Live, I'll take the time to try to answer all the questions that you might have and the questions on the comments on my video to hopefully provide you answers to questions that you're asking yourself. However, before we jump into the comments and questions, as always, the usual disclaimer has to be out of the way first. Everything that I share in this live stream / video is my personal opinion and in no way financial or professional advice of any kind. You should always do your own research, consult certified professionals, draw your own conclusions, and make your own decisions. Sorry for my messy hair. I forgot to grab my hat on the way to recording or streaming. Yeah, Tuesdays are a little bit busy because I have my gaming stream in the morning for 3 hours, then it's lunch, then there are a few other things to do, and suddenly it's the next stream already. But nonetheless, I picked the schedule, so cannot complain about it. Anyway, with that, we can jump to my main screen. As always, keep in mind you have to be a subscriber on the channel for at least 1 day in order to be able to write in the chat. This is simply to prevent the random bots and spammers to show up. Yeah, with that out of the way, there seems to be an issue with my Agora Pulse setup today. As we can see, the freshest comment that we can see here is 18 hours ago, whereas we have some newer comments here. However, we'll stick with Agora Pulse, so we stick with Agora Pulse so that whatever comments it hasn't fetched today, we see tomorrow. So yeah, we'll do that. Can close this. Yeah. Hi, nothing. Great to have you here. How's your day going? You're asking, do you have any idea when will Pi Network be launched? Yeah, I mean, that actually ties a little bit into that comment that we got on yesterday's live stream episode. Should be yesterday, yeah. So with different time zones, it screws the date a little bit because obviously today is the 4th, but this shows at the 4th. Yeah, when will Pi Network be launched? Obviously, the criteria for those are quite clear. Let's see if I can find them. MindPy block open network conditions. There you have it. So they have been clear for quite some time. Yeah. So do we see simple points? First, no. There are the 3 main reasons. No. Okay. Starting with condition 2. Blah blah blah. From when is that post? That's from December. Okay. So maybe I should read it piece by piece instead of skimming through it. Okay. Okay, yeah. So one of the goals or one of the requirements for the open mainnet, because we're already on the enclosed mainnet for quite some time, and for those that already have coins migrated, they're already usable and there are already places where you can spend them and so on, which is relevant when we look at the first real comment that we have on the videos. But one of the requirements for the open mainnet is that we reach 10 million migrated pioneers. From what I recall, we're at 9.8 million or 9.9 million. So yeah, so that should be done within the next couple of days. Additionally, the requirement was to have 100 mainnet ready apps. Yeah, so mainnet or mainnet ready apps. While people might not like that, but the more apps there are that work on the Pi blockchain and are exclusively for Pi network and the Pi blockchain, the more use cases there are, the higher the chance that people have a reason to actually buy Pi coins and not just sell them. So I don't know how far we are there, if we have 100 apps already or not. And condition number 3 is the market itself should be reasonably, let's see if I can find it wrong. Condition, it will also support, we have always blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, it says first quarter 2025. My estimate, by the way, from the last couple of streams, if you watch them, is also either late in the first quarter, so towards March, or early in the second quarter this year. understand the requirements and the context. Okay, so condition 1, finish any open network working technology, blah, 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 blah. Condition 2, achieve the following goals and 100 real Pi apps, yeah. And condition 3, the absence of an unfavorable external environment, yeah. So that would be, the first two conditions are relatively clear. It's 100 apps that I approved and 10 million migrated pioneers. So not KYC verified, but migrated. And the first two are definitely close to being fulfilled. And the third one is relatively random. Doorbell is ringing. I hope Irina hears it. Yes, sounds like she's going already. Because obviously with the orange buffoon in the White House, doing what he does and affecting crypto markets, that might be a potential reason for delay. But then on the other hand, I don't think the core team would delay for 4 years or longer, just because of the political environment. So I think right now is actually not a bad time, especially if we look at the development in crypto prices. So for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Algorand, XRP, and so on, we're actually in part of a bull market. We might be towards the end of the bull market, but I think so. As I said, I believe March, April, maybe May. So within the next couple of months, we should have all the requirements met and the open mainnet should actually hit, yeah. Which brings us to a reply yesterday. So because I pointed out, I really dislike the use of the word scam. And the reply starts off, scam when you exchange anything under the impression you'll receive something in return. Yeah. Now I'm curious, what's the definition of the word scam? Yeah? A dishonest scheme, a fraud. Yeah. So concept of scamming, scam definition and meaning. The meaning of scam is a fraudulent or deceptive act or operation, a dishonest or illegal plan or activity, one for making money. Yeah. So I disagree with this assessment. When you exchange anything under the impression you'll receive something in return, that's not a scam. So that's not, in my opinion, the definition of a scam. Yeah. So that might be misleading or whatever, but that is not the definition of a scam based on what we just read. And it is a scam because you're hashing for a coin that will repeatedly get stalled and delayed for XYZ reason. No, you're not hashing for a coin because you're even, so Noel127 is even contradicting himself here. First, he says it is a scam because you exchange something under the impression you receive something in return. You're not exchanging anything with Pi Network. You're spending around 5 seconds every day to push one button. And for that, you don't have the impression that you'll get something in return. You'll actually receive Pi coins. There are now around 10 million migrated pioneers. So there's 10 million users that already received coins in their wallets that is running on the real Pi Network blockchain. So there is no scam there, not by that definition. Your second sentence is wrong because there was no stalling or delaying. There were simply adjustments to the schedule based on what's needed, because if we don't have users migrated, there are no users. If we don't have apps to use Pi coins, then nobody has a reason to buy them. So your first two sentences just read like you're an impatient douche that cannot wait. Sorry to say it like this, but and that still is too lazy if we're going to read the rest, because in my opinion, you're just too lazy to do any kind of research, but still run around screaming scam. Yeah, and that is what personally just, I don't know, triggers me a little bit, as you might notice, because I have nothing against it. That this whole YouTube channel switched from being about digital marketing to be about crypto projects when I was asked to look into a crypto project that was a real scam. Yeah, so that was the whole thing that triggered it. I have no problem calling a project a scam or worthless, but if you don't lose anything, you're not being scammed. Yeah. It might be misleading or dishonest or so, but you're not being scammed. It's not like you get an email from a Nigerian prince that if you wire them whatever $5,000, they will grant you the inheritance from this person or whatever. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I'm moving on. So how many times has it happened now? The delays. Yeah. Again, if you read the updates and if you think about it a little bit, what it actually will take for Pi to not be worthless on day one, you understand why there were delays. Yeah. Just for example, if we think about one simple aspect, the KYC applications. So Pi now has 10 million or very, very close to 10 million migrated users, but way more that already passed KYC and haven't been migrated. Yeah. Originally, Pi used Yoti, a third-party service, for their KYC verification. Yeah. So Yoti KYC pricing. So there we go. Products, identity verification. Okay, and there should somewhere probably be. Maybe we find some pricing. I recall it from later, from earlier. Maybe they removed it from the website. Okay, there's no pricing anymore, but it was close to $1 per verification. Yeah. So now with 10 million verified users right now, Pi Network would have had to pay $10 million, or maybe they get a discount, let's say $5 million, just to get those users verified. Yeah. That is the reason why they relatively early on, decided that they will develop their own KYC solution, which is a huge thing. Yeah. So not just from a data protection and privacy perspective, but also from a handling the amounts of data, handling them securely, and so on. So it's a huge aspect, but it was a necessary decision that back when they started the project simply wasn't considered, just how expensive it would get and so on. And that alone caused probably more than a year delay. Even right now, their KYC system doesn't have, for example, KYC with parental consent. And that obviously it's not, it's an issue for people that are below 18 or whatever the legal age in their country is. But obviously that is a delay that is justified by making sure, okay, either back then they didn't have those funds, or they wanted to ensure that they don't have to pay millions for a third-party service just to get KYC done and so on. But the point is, like, the delays are all justified. And if one bothers to read the announcement and think about the bigger picture, then one understands that. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Yeah. I have Pi in the thousands, and with the most recent postponement, it's trending toward $28. That's the next sentence that shows just how clueless you are. Sorry to say it. I know you'll get offended by what I'm saying here, but that's just a simple fact. Yeah, because if you would do a little bit of research, you would already know that the prices for Pi tokens that are shown on exchanges are IOUs. Those are not real Pi. And therefore, whatever price is shown to you here is not what you will get. It doesn't work like this. Yeah, do a little bit of research. There is a video on my channel that covers the IOU specifically, why, in my opinion, they were created by exchanges and how they will play out once we actually reach the open mainnet. Feel free. I'm going to share in the chat 1 second Pi playlist. So, hi Scout Report. Sorry, all my videos about Pi Network. That brings me to the question, Gabby, are you here? If yes, please say hello briefly in the chat so I know you're there. Anyway, so next on, yeah. They are literally profiting off what your phone mines and the ads they get paid per view. That's the next sentence where you are clearly wrong, because your phone doesn't mine. If you would do a little bit of research, as I said before, you know that there is no such thing as mobile mining. Mobile mining is technically possible on Android devices, but then also only if you download the APK package of an app that mines specifically. And even if you do that, it wouldn't be worth it because of the hardware that is in the phone. Yeah. What you do in Pi Network is you press a button, and for that you get coins credited within the next 24 hours. Those coins already exist. It's not that they get mined. Yeah. And the ads, they get paid per view. Sure, the team makes revenue from ads, but there are two things to consider. First of all, if you would do a little bit of research, you would know that you can just go to your profile and disable the ads for 2 weeks. You can also, when you press the mining button and the ad pops up, just close the app so you don't have to watch it. Yeah? And besides those points, you also should consider that an app that has millions of users that every day interact with it has like huge expenses for server hosting, databases. There are developers working on the project that also don't live from air and need to get paid a salary. And obviously all of that is funded on one hand from venture capital, on the other hand from ad revenue. Yeah. Moving on, just because people want to give away their items through trade under unicorn money doesn't mean it's not a scam. That concept is retarded in itself. So you're kind of like contradicting yourself in every second sentence. On one hand, you claim that your Pi are worth towards $28. On the other hand, you claim Pi is worth nothing when people trade it when people actually already use Pi that are on the real blockchain, that are a real cryptocurrency, just as much as Bitcoin, XRP, Algorand, Doge, or any other cryptocurrency we know from a technical perspective, it's exactly the same. There's a blockchain. On that blockchain, all transactions are kept, and they handle, or they basically are used to keep track of all the transactions and balances that users have. It's probably the most decentralized blockchain in the world, considering the sheer number of nodes running and so on. But yeah, so yes, it is a dishonest scheme or scam. So I'm honestly, Noel, to you, I can only just say, just delete the app and move on with your life, because you're clearly, on one hand, you're willing to jump on a video and then write a paragraph about why the world is so unfair. On the other hand, you're not clearly, based on all the false statements in that single comment of yours, you're clearly not willing to spend half an hour to do some actual research. Yeah. So either, I don't know, shut up, keep pushing your button and enjoy when we reach the open mainnet, or just uninstall the app and move on with your life. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So Scout Report asks, how many Pi coins per validation? Well, each user pays 1 Pi for the KYC validation, and that 1 Pi is then split up. Yeah. Now, I would assume that people that fail KYC don't pay because they are not verified, which means they technically don't have any verified Pi, which means you have to, on one hand, consider that for each verified user, you have 1 Pi that is split up among multiple people. So you could get, I don't know how many people are involved for the final decision. So how many people have to confirm that it's a valid ID or not, for example, or that the video is actually a liveness check with a real person. So if three people have to look at it and say, yes, it is real, then each would get 0.33 coins. If 10 people have to look at it, each would get 0.1. But then you also have to consider that there's a certain percentage, maybe 5%, maybe 10% of people that fail KYC. For those, you technically shouldn't get anything. So it's going to be 0 point something per validation. If you do enough of them, it still will sum up. Personally, I don't have many done yet. I'm below 100 validations that I did. But I try to here and there remind myself when I'm, I don't know, sitting on the couch 5 minutes and I have nothing to do or so, to open up the Pi browser and check if there are some validations for me to do. And at the end of the day, whatever, you have to look at it this way. Having more people using Pi coin is only in your interest, because it gives it a better chance of survival, in quotes. And doing validation helps get closer or get faster or reach a higher user number faster. So it's in your interest. And on top of that, you get a small compensation for it. How much that is, so we know it will be a portion of 1 Pi, but if it's in the end 0.5, 0.3 or 0.0 something, I don't think it matters really. You should not, in my opinion, I mean, I know there are people out there that already have more than 1,000 or more than a couple thousand validations done. So you should not spend, in my opinion, hours of your time just sitting there and doing validations. But if every day, every other day, you quickly check, are there a few to do? And then you do 5 or 10 or so. Here in Germany, there are not that many that pop up anymore on my phone. So then you're already doing your part. Somebody validated you. And if you validate 5 or 10 users in total, you already actually gave back more. And if the next 5 or 10 would do the same, it already would speed up the whole verification process. But if you keep doing it, so as I said, every day, every second day, once per week, maybe set yourself a reminder. If every Sunday afternoon you have a boring time where you have nothing to do, set yourself a reminder, Sunday afternoon, Pi validations, and then just do for half an hour or so. But I wouldn't go out of my way to just sit there and neglect other things that I can do just to get the validation done. Yeah. Karam Chen says, my Pi verification has been stuck. Yeah, there's nothing you can do. So if your KYC verification is not progressing, all you have to do is wait. Eventually, you'll either get some liveness check, you'll get declined and see the reason, and then you have either the chance to resubmit with, I don't know, better pictures or whatever didn't match. If your name, so the name in your passport or ID that you used and the name in your profile doesn't match, you get the option to file an appeal for the name if it's only a minor thing. So maybe you got married and you changed your last name. Maybe you have a typo or you used your nickname plus regular last name. So if there's a minor difference, and if your name is completely wrong, you get the option to forfeit, I think 30% of your pi to be allowed to actually change it. Yeah, which I'm not a fan of that option, to be honest, because every user, when they join, have 2 weeks to make sure the name is correct. And after that time is up. And that's a very important mechanism, because honestly, if I would have known that they will introduce an option to change the name and by just forfeiting 30% of your pi, I might have, I mean, not that I did, but in theory, let's say I wouldn't, but let's say one could have back then just set up a phone farm. So like on your computer with emulated phones, just have like 10, 20, 50 Pi accounts running with random names, and now sell them to somebody, because that somebody could apply for KYZ and would only have to give up 30%, but would still have way more than if they just start now. Yeah. So that's why I'm not a huge, I get that people might have missed the name part, but there was a period in between of more than a month where people could file appeals to change their name. There was even a period where they could just change it, if I recall it correctly, to account for that. And yeah, so I get that a few people missed that, but I feel like it opens the door to creating fake accounts and then selling them to other people if you go ahead and basically create, if you allow people to, okay, you can change your name, but you just have to give up 30%. Yeah. So I said I could create a second account or a third or 10 new accounts, and I keep mining with them for a year. In a year, the mining rate will again be lower, which means they already will have accumulated something, or a year will not work because of the 6-month grace period. Okay, so I keep mining with them for 5 months. Mining rate gets lower, so they still have a balance. So I can sell them to somebody that then basically knows he can keep 70% of that pre-mined balance when he changes the name. Yeah. Anyway, moving on, hiding this. Yeah, so it's just, the buffering type circle moving on KYC section for a long period of time. But if you go into your, 1 second, just need to just open up an app. So, and push a magic button here. God, someday I will remember where those buttons are. Yeah, so if you go in the main menu and you go to profile and you scroll down, so there you still have, so where it says KYZ verification, or identity verification, KYZ, there you have an X, I guess. And if you go into the Pi browser, let's open that up, and not the wallet. And then here to KYZ, there it keeps spinning on logging or on, because you should get, sorry guys. So you should get some, so check my status, and then it will say that I passed it, yeah. So you should get some status there. So there should be something. If it's really not loading there, so I honestly don't have the answer for you. But then you should ask, yeah, like unofficial. God, my English sometimes. Oh yeah, that's unofficial Pi network subreddit. There we go. So you can go there. Still have a typo there, probably. Yeah. That's a community of long-term users. Some of them are moderators in the Pi network chats and so on. And so the link I just shared in the chat. And you can ask there. And ideally, include a screenshot, as long as it doesn't include any personal information that shows what you're seeing, and then somebody there will be able to answer. But if it's just that basically it says like pending or something like that, then all you have to do is wait. Yeah. Circling back, we still have like 5 minutes left. 24 luck. Oh my God. Yeah, I guess that's a currency. Not sure if it refers to my Pi balance. Let's clear that up real quick. So if we circle back here, so I know there is a setting to hide my balance, but I don't see a reason to do it. But so circling back here. So you guys can see this, my app says I have 4.29 million Pi, and everybody goes crazy about it. Yeah? And there is no denying that I will have a decent amount of Pi. Yeah? But that number is just a number. It's all that is. It does not mean that I will ever get that amount. Yeah. Because if you pay closer attention, you also see that I have right now 1,980 referrals. out of almost 33,000. Yeah, the number is so big that it doesn't even show on the screen, and I cannot even remind them to use the app, because when I load that screen, the app crashes. Yeah, but if we run the numbers, so we have, yeah, pretty much 33,000. Yeah, so we have 1,980 active out of 33,000. So I'm switching back so you can see the calculation I'm running. Yeah, so that's 6%. Yeah, so if we now take I'm gonna round up 4.3 million pi that my app shows. So if those 1,980 all passed KYC, yeah, and are still active and they passed KYC, then the best I could hope for would be, in quotes, 258,000 pi. Yeah. Now I get that this is still a lot, especially for people that are joining now, but there are two things to consider. First of all, it's far, far less than the number that you see in the app. So whenever you see an account from, in quotes, an influencer or just somebody that has more referrals for whatever reason, keep in mind the number on top doesn't mean anything. Yeah. And second of all, obviously, you have to consider the work that I put into the project. Yeah. I joined Pi Network when it had less than 100,000 users. I've recorded 40 videos on this channel alone about the project. I don't know how many shorts. I've sent email campaigns about the project. I've been active in the Pi Network subreddit to help users and so on. So like, I don't know how many hours I invested in Pi Network. Yeah, one can argue that I also make money from YouTube. So since the channel is monetized, but the whole YouTube channel at this moment is pretty much just a hobby, because our main business, or my main source, or our main source of income is our software business, and the YouTube channel brings an astonishing $100 to $200 per month. Yeah. So if we calculate the hours that I invested versus the money that I made from the YouTube videos or so, I might as well, I don't know, work in a sweatshop in Bangladesh or so. I mean, it's not that bad, but it's like really not that it's compensating and paying for our life, at least not at the moment. And yeah, so keep that in mind. Whenever you see somebody for a project like Pi Network or similar project that has a huge balance, that there are often other factors involved. And even if I would get those 4.3 million coins, so if that would be possible, it's not possible, because again, for that, the 94% of my referrals that are not active and that I cannot even ping anymore because the app just cannot handle the number of referrals, would need to come active again, and within the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever, complete KYC if they haven't already. Yeah. But even if I would get the 4.3 million, you still have to consider that time that I invested. So yeah, I know it's easy to maybe even feel a little jealous or so when you see somebody that has better results. Yeah. But then you always have to wonder, how long are they doing it? So if you joined half a year ago and I joined 5 years ago or 4 point something years ago when the app launched, there's obviously a difference there just in time already. And how much effort did they put in? If you only, or not you specifically, but if a person just opens the app every day, presses the button, but never tells anyone about the project, never tries to promote it in some way, well, of course, they will have less coins than another person that goes around and actually actively tries to share the project and get new users. Yeah. Anyway, with that, we actually reach 3 p.m. my time, and that's the time for me to call it quits. Don't forget, like, subscribe, enable notifications. I hope you were able to take something away from today's stream. Yeah, like there's not much more to add. If we didn't get to your comment or question today during the stream, don't forget, tomorrow is another episode of Common Chaos Live, same time, same place. That is why you should subscribe and enable notifications so you don't miss out on the next stream. And with that, I'm going to say thank you all for stopping by. Have a great rest of the day, and then see you all tomorrow. Till then, bye-bye.